Hey, this is Abacus with the Spuff of Legend, and for those of you who don't already know, a new game just came out on Steam. It's free to play, and it's called Paladins. It was made by Hi-Rez Studios, the developers who made Tribes Ascend and Smite. It's an arena shooter, much like Overwatch, where you take control of a hero, join a team of 5, and then work with your team against another team of 5 heroes to either accomplish an objective or stop the other team from accomplishing their objective. And it's actually really fun. A lot of the people I've been talking to are upset at how much it seems to have stolen from Overwatch, or how similar it is to Overwatch, to almost plagiaristic degree, gameplay-wise, and they're pretty much right, but because Overwatch is such a fun game, this is pretty much a fun game, and I can really appreciate that it's free to play, because some people just can't afford to drop $40 on a game right now, and I have friends who were interested in playing Overwatch, but they weren't able to because they couldn't afford it, and I'm playing Paladins with all of those friends right now, so I, for one, am very glad that this game came to light. Now, the heroes are not identical to the ones in Overwatch, and while a lot of abilities from Overwatch are present on certain characters, none of the characters are just carbon copies of anyone from Overwatch, and most of them do play a little bit differently, even if characters like Fernando are very similar in role to Overwatch's Reinhardt. The gameplay itself is where a lot of the similarities are pretty much the same, with payload carts and control points to capture, and the fact that you're on 2 teams of 5 as opposed to Overwatch of 2 teams of 6, but in that way it kind of just feels like Overwatch with a different roster of heroes, and said heroes are very interesting. There is a stealth hero named Skye, something not present in Overwatch, and if I had to complain about the current roster, I would say that the support is lacking. Right now I'm playing Pip, the only free support, and by free I should explain that this game you need to unlock heroes. You start the game with, I believe, 8 of them, or that might be too many, but you have a decent amount of heroes to begin with, and you earn gold coins that you can then spend to purchase new heroes. And at the moment, the support options are rather lackluster. Now, I have not played the other 2 because I haven't unlocked them, but Pip, the only free support, is basically a grenadier who happens to have a heal grenade that he can drop at his feet and heal everyone around him. And I guess I'm just saying that there's not enough healing in Pip to make him feel particularly rewarding. But the good news is that Hi-Rez Studios made this game, and they are, at least if Smite is any indication, they're very good at constantly churning out new characters to play as. That seems to honestly be their focus over other aspects of game development, like bug testing and going back and revising older content. And speaking of Hi-Rez Studios, I should note that some of my friends are not going to play this game because they have a personal boycott against Hi-Rez, and they are upset with the way Hi-Rez treats their older franchises. In particular, Tribes Ascend is a game that I've heard a lot of my friends say the developer Hi-Rez ruined. I was not a player of Tribes Ascend, and I don't know a lot of the backstory, but I just feel like it would be fair to mention that this developer might not have the greatest track record with longevity. And so if you get really into Paladins, look out for some changes down the line. But honestly, I've heard people say the same thing about Blizzard. And really, if you want to play the game as it is now, play the game as it is now, because it really is a fun game, especially if you don't own Overwatch. If you do enjoy Paladins, then it's like you can test the gameplay for Overwatch if you've been kind of on the fence on buying it, because it really does play pretty much exactly the same as Overwatch, which again I don't think is a bad thing. Since I've stated that the game is overall fun and I recommend playing it, I feel the need to kind of talk about some things that I think are less than stellar. I've already mentioned that I'm disappointed with the current support classes and hope that they add more in the future. I'm also concerned with how the unlock system prevents you from switching to something that encounters a specific class or other opponent. And I'm also not sure about the horse mechanic. Every single character has a horse that they ride into battle, and while I love it because I'm always a fan of mobility in games, it feels like it does kind of affect the pacing of the game that everybody, tanks, the speedy characters, anyone can just ride from spawn and be back in the battle almost immediately. It's just kind of like everybody is constantly on the point, and there's not really any point to killing somebody unless you kill everybody on the other team. But maybe I just haven't played it enough. I just know that mobility is a big part of Overwatch, it's a big part of TF2, and most of these games do care about which characters are faster than others, and the horses kind of hurt that. But all in all, very solid game for a free-to-play title, and I recommend trying it out. This is Abacus with the Spuff of Legend, signing out.